Hey guys, drdecks here. Today I am here to do an unboxing of the new Metabo HPT rear-handled saw. What do they call this exactly? Cordless rear handle circular saw. So I call it a skill saw or a worm drive saw, but I've been corrected so many times on the internet about it. I'm just gonna call it what they say it is on the box. How's that? So this is a cordless rear handle circular saw. I've heard a lot of things about it. There's a few influencers out there that have already had this. Maybe you've seen it before. This is not a full review. This is just gonna be our initial thoughts and so on and so forth about the saw, and maybe get you guys some information. This is not released yet. It will be available sometime in mid-March. So stay tuned. More than likely you'll be able to pick it up at Lowe's Home Improvement. But I haven't opened the box yet, so I thought let's do that and see what we got. All right, got some cardboard, plastic. I better not throw that. That might go off into the water. Some instructions, saw blade, tool to change the blade, an exhaust dust port, probably won't use that, and woo-wee. There you go. Pretty light, pretty light. So first impression just of the overall, yeah, I mean it's without the battery in it. I do have a multi-volt battery that I'm gonna put in this, but before we do, let's go ahead and get the blade on it first, okay? It's always safer if you install your saw blades without the battery in the saw for just, oh, there goes the plastic. Save the seals, guys. Okay, so let's get on with getting a blade on here, because what's the use of having this saw without a blade? It comes with a 24 tooth Viper blade, 7 1/4 inch framing. Yeah, I would say 24 tooth's good for about framing. It looks like the nut that's on the saw, you can actually use this adjuster wrench, or if you have the right size Allen key, you would also be able to put that in there and use it from the inside if you strip the bolt or something like that. There's a shaft lock on the front of the saw right here. Okay, so usually these are reverse thread. Usually when you go to the left, you would loosen the saw. So this time you're gonna go to the right to loosen it, okay? And that is correct. So you're gonna take the nut off like so, okay? Don't drop it. Then you're gonna take off this washer that holds the outside of the blade to the inside of the saw. Sometimes I'll go ahead and lower the guard down or the fence down and raise the guard up. And then you always want to put your blade so that the teeth are cutting this way. So don't do it like this, you got to do it like this. One thing I think is kind of cool that they did was they didn't make it a diamond knockout saw, so you can just drop your blade on there without knocking out a diamond, which is kind of nice. This washer is dual-sided, so it doesn't matter which side you put it on. You notice there's about a 1/16 inch of rise in the top of the washer, so when you cinch down on this nut and bolt, it's not going to strip, it's gonna cinch the blade down. Looks like I got a little bit of a rough thread here. There we go. So now we'll spin it on. Got our handy dandy tool here, which I'm sure I'll lose, unless there's onboard storage, so we'll look for that in a minute. And then you're gonna tighten it backwards, so actually going to the left tightens the saw blade to the saw. So there's a dust port right here, and I can see where there's a screw, so that dust port that came with the saw, you can screw this on and use a vac with it, which we never do. The pressure treated hemlocks that we use, they usually don't work too well, and the PVCs, they clog really fast, so it'll still clog up a vacuum saw or a vacuum attachment. A couple other basic features. You know, you've got your guard right here with a thumb lever so you can raise it up if you need to do some plunge cutting. Looks like the overall depth on a 90-degree angle is 2 7/16. On a 45-degree angle, it's 1 3/4 inches, which is cool because you can still cut through a 2x material, which is what we'll do today. Your bevel capacity is 53 degrees, which is kind of nice as well if you have to cut over a 45-degree angle. Tool length is 17 1/64, and it has a rafter hook. The tool only weight is 8.2 pounds, which I believe is one of the features that shines on this saw, because it's a couple pounds lighter than anything else on the market. I know there's a couple other influencers that have had the saw since Christmas time, and they've done their full reviews already, and they said, yeah, this is a light saw, and it's got a lot of power. So now that the blade is on, a couple other quick features. You've got your plate right here for your multiple adjustable angles. It can go up to 45, and then you can actually take it up to 53 degrees. This is the notch right here. This is what you would read to. So there's your 45-degree angle. Another thing I like is it also has a clear indicator of 0 degrees, and on a 45-degree, you can actually use these two grooves to make your cut. You can follow a cut line right along here. Some guys are a blade follower, some guys are a plate follower, depending on how you make your cuts. That's also a cool feature. Here's your rafter hook right here. enough talk. Let's get this thing loaded. Let's cut some wood. All right, guys, so what I have here is some 2x8, say it with me, pressure treated hemlock. All right, it's probably one of our most used wood, and it's probably one of the most used reasons that we would have this saw is for cutting this wood. I do happen to have a square with me. Let's just see how it does through cutting a piece of 2x8. There's a safety right here on the thumb trigger. Some guys will use their index finger. Some guys will use their thumb. Just depending on where I'm at, it will determine which one I'm gonna use. So I'm gonna use my index finger for this test. That cut really easy. Obviously we have a brand new blade on the saw, so it's gonna cut really good. I'm gonna do a freehand cut. I'm just gonna draw a line and cut it with the saw. Seems just fine. And now let's put it on a 45. We'll cut that as well. I'll show you how that works with that line. Okay, so I'm gonna draw a line on my board. Okay, there's my line. I'm not gonna use it square. And you can see right here where it says 45, and there's that depth of cut in the plate. It's like a V-notch in the plate. So you could actually follow this with the line and then finish your cut by watching the blade. Okay, here we go. And you can see it bogged down a little bit. It's always going to when you're cutting on a 45-degree angle because you're cutting through more material and the blade can pinch and bind. But it seems like it has plenty of power. We'll probably do a comparison test with this saw against the DeWalt saws that we have in the near future on the next job that we're on where we're framing some material just to kind of get an idea. The reason I like this saw as well is because I already have the Metabo HPT battery platform. We have several batteries and drills that we use all the time. They're triple hammer impacts. So it's gonna be convenient just to be able to grab a battery. It only takes one instead of two. Some of the other brands take two batteries. This particular saw only takes one. I like that as well. We'll give it one more final cut. Okay, one more test, guys. Let's just run it as fast as we can and see what happens. Okay, so it still took it. Still took the bait. There you go. There's your hanger. Obviously, it's really designed to be used like this. You can hang it like that, but what the heck? You can also hang it like that. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like this video, please don't forget to click that subscribe button. Hit the bell icon to be notified when we're putting out new content. Leave a comment below, and don't forget to like our videos.